Hello, everyone, and welcome to Twillow Stash. This is our monthly with our amazing guest. Well, amazing co-host, really, because, it's a regular once-a-month thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Gerald from Tarot Stash. Welcome, Gerald.
Thank you for having me back.
Always.
Always good to have you. And I'm Tanis Coughlin from the Twillow Lifestyle Community, Twillow Lifestyle Academy. And I am joined by my beautiful co-host, Jennifer Jurkofsky.
Hey, hey.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an exciting time. And we have people saying hello. So let's say hello to a few people, and then we'll get into our forecasts. Kaylee said she was excited for Twillow Stash.
I'm
Awesome.
excited for Twillow Stash.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. The three of us. She's even got a tree and a Twillow, or a tree and a mustache. So it's Twillow Stash. And we have a hello from Hypnicity. Hey, Melanie, welcome. And we have Timmy.
Hello.
Hey,
Timmy,
Timmy.
hello. I'm excited.
Welcome.
I have scheduled Timmy for a show
Awesome.
with me in a couple of weeks. I'm very, very excited.
Excellent. That'll be fun. We'll have to watch that.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Madame Maru. Hello, hello.
Yes.
Welcome. So we have a spontaneous show, as always. This is what we do. And so I'm being in that spontaneous headspace of, squirrel, as I do. And so
I'm like, do I have a squirrel prop? Currently have a squirrel prop. I should probably look into that.
My squirrel is somewhere because I'm not all here.
yeah, that's my thing. I'm not all here. So
We'll say hi to Stone too.
oh, hey, Stone. Welcome. Are we here? Hello, hello.
Oh.
Aw, thank you.
Oh, yay.
Awesome. It's an important part of ours too, because we get to be here with you guys.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, shall we take a look at our forecast, etc., etc.? So when we look, let's start with the Schumann today. So we've got the Schumann. You can see we've had some big blips here. Those were pretty impactful in the last couple of days. And we've felt those because it's a lot of energy coming in. So, yeah.
Okay, because just remind everybody what the Schumann is and
yes,
from where it originates, if you don't
From
mind.
whence it came.
From whence it came. The Schumann resonance scale is the measurement of the vibrational frequency of the earth. And so it fluctuates as the vibration of the earth fluctuates. Now, this depends on a bunch of different things. It can be storms here, or it can be solar flares, or it can be, basic disruption within the field.
Okay.
And so when we have these, often there's a correlation between solar flares. This particular weekend, there was not. So this is an interesting thing. Now, that doesn't mean that there wasn't other stuff happening, because I think there's a whole lot of science stuff that we are not able to measure yet with where our science is at this time. And so we will sometimes get these blips, and they may be from consciousness. I mean, we've seen like big spikes in Schumann when there's a whole lot of people, when we have those world meditation days, we will see a huge rise in the Schumann resonance.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see here it's 30 today. So the baseline is 7.8 hertz. And we've had a lot of that stuff happening lately with this spiking up. I mean, I actually don't remember the last time I saw it as 7.8 hertz, to be honest. I think we had one time, maybe 2 or 3 months ago. But
so then, do we need to change what the normal vibration is?
I would say so.
I'll put a call into the Schumann people to ask them that question. you know, and I'll let you know. And if the Schumann people are watching, by all means, contact me at tarotstash@gmail.com. I'd love to have you on for a conversation. So,
Ooh, that would be fun. Yes, indeed.
sorry. Hashtag not sorry. Because I would do that. I would
Oh, for
totally do that,
sure.
because we have oftentimes, sorry, I'm a little connected in. There are so many things that are going on in the world, not just physically, but energetically, mentally, emotionally. And part of this is a resonance of what, and the importance of, we've got to find that balance with it. What's going on. Sometimes finding that balance is taking a step back, and other times it's taking a step forward, if that makes sense to people.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know, Timmy and I are going to talk about something that I believe really does relate to this in a couple of weeks. So
Awesome.
this is a key thing. That balance is really important. And so, okay, I'll stop talking.
You don't have to stop talking.
No, it's all good. That's what we do here, is talk.
So, and
it's all
so
good.
That's, you know, now I'm like going, I do want to find out who the Schumann people are, and I would contact them. So, but
To
anyhow,
make it different. Well, and it's interesting when we talk about like the waves, right? Because the waves, if we associate them with brain waves, right? So we're talking about resonance here. And so the normal, the 7.83 hertz, is associated with those theta waves, right? And so it's interesting because you think that, you know, as we get into like the alpha and the beta waves and all of that, that we're, you know, getting more into the thinking mind. And it's actually, you know, we talk about how like there's all this stuff coming in and downloads and all of that. But what's really fascinating is that it's almost like, again, we come into this cyclical thing where those theta waves are the creative energy waves. And so we're actually being pulled out of that. And then we're being brought into like higher harmonics, right? And then we're being brought back in. And it's this cycle. And it's really quite powerful when we look at all of the Schumann and what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and this is the evidence that they're looking at, because they're talking about, you know, consciousness rising and the vibration of the earth rising. These are the things that they look at as what we measure in this current moment. I mean, there's lots of others too, but these are definitely the biggest ones that they're watching to make sure, like to actually be able to say, yes, the vibration of the earth is rising, right? It's this kind of thing. So yeah, we've got lots of comments here about all sorts of stuff. So let's take a look at that. Let me just show these other things, and then we'll go back so that you can see us all better. So solar flares, as you can see, has not been spiking the way it was. So that's an interesting reflection. And the KP index has been fairly low. Like these, in the last couple of weeks, we've had a couple of instances where these have been up around 8. And so they have calmed down a whole lot again. So in terms of that, now, having said that, we have a whole lot of downloads coming down. So there's a lot of stuff. This is why I'm focusing. This is why I keep saying it's what we can measure, because there's a bunch of stuff coming down in the neutrinos and all of those with the energies coming in that way, that are downloads for us of information, of energy, of upgrades, and they're really changing how we feel in our body. And so there's a lot of people are feeling a lot of sort of like uncomfortableness in their own skin at the moment, in terms of getting pains or headaches, lots of fatigue, lots of those. And we call those ascension symptoms because it's kind of a broad term. But that is something that is prevalent at the moment.
What is the KP index?
This is the planetary Cape index from NOAA SWPC. So it's updated every minute. Let me just look here.
I mean, because I you know, it's like, this is my first time on the show, but I don't ever remember you talking about the KP index.
Oh yeah, I've been talking about it lately.
I believe you, but I'm like, what does that mean? So
here it is. The KP index is the Global Geomagnetic Activity Index. That's based on a 3-hour measurement from the ground-based magnetometers around the world. So each station is calibrated according to its latitude and reports a certain K indices depending on the geometric activity measured at the location of the magnetometer. Okay. And so it is again related to, it's a different measurement of that, the Earth frequencies.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, and the high, like what Kaylee is saying too, the higher the KP index, the more likely we are to have aurora. So they actually put that under auroral activities when we're looking at it.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So, yeah. Mm-hmm. So welcome to your forecast for the day. Should we say hello to people and then we'll hear Jen's transits?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Let's see. I have to go back a ways here. Who have we got here? We can say hello to Be Angelic. And we have Red Dragon. Welcome, welcome. We have Maureen. D'Amico. Welcome. Ooh, watching a thunderstorm. So thunderstorms, volcanoes, and all of those things as well are also a factor when we're looking at the Earth's vibration. And then we have Play, Love, Remember. Welcome. This is a good question. Is the whole Ring of Fire more active now? Good question. Anybody know?
I don't know. I mean,
it'd be interesting to look it up and see.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just thinking of the song, but okay.
Me too. That's what came to mind. I was like, that's not what she's asking about. So I think Kaylee's talking about the downloads and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Diane. Welcome. And blah, blah, blah. I thought I saw Jonathan in here somewhere.
Jonathan was earlier, and yes, I did see something that Timmy popped in, which is things change from the center out.
Oh yes, here, this one.
Mm-hmm.
Balance flows from the center.
Yes, balance flows from the center.
Absolutely.
There's Jonathan. Hey, Jonathan. Oh yes, lots of volcanoes erupting, etc. Maybe that's affecting things. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yellowstone is experiencing earthquakes today. Yeah. So all of that stuff is going to affect the Earth, consequently us as well. There we go. A scale measuring geomagnetic activity according to internets.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, in like the most simple kind of terms, basically, it's measuring the Earth's magnetic field and how disturbed it is. That's it.
Right. Well, how disturbed is it? Is how disturbed we are.
Well, and what's really interesting is, for me, I have recently been there's a level of excitement about going back and going to the base of something that you already know and reminding yourself of what this is this. It's like casting circle in my coven. Going back to the basics of it is really beneficial, could be beneficial for you, because it reminds you of, here are the basic elements and the importance of those. And I have this vast life experience that I'm bringing with me now and looking at it. So,
yeah, we look at things very differently because we grow every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yes. Well, we hope we grow.
We hope we do. We attempt to learn every day, and we change every day. Yes.
We change, whether that's, however we're spiraling in that moment.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So Nancy Ray, hello, hello. I felt a week of total fatigue. Now I feel a quickening of my spiritual abilities. Let's say a remembering. Nice.
Beautiful.
And we have Tea Garden Chicken. Just wondering, did y'all plan on the color coordination? Not entirely.
No, those two came on as orange, and I just threw my wrap on because it was orange and it was sitting right next to me.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because I went, ooh, orange.
And see, I mean, I was just going to say, yes, we coordinated
it. Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. We have Aspasia Rising. Welcome,
Yeah.
welcome. And we have Stone Hobbit, who's making a comment. It's been growing and getting more active, the Ring of Fire. She's in it. Ah, thank you. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're having a whole conversation over there.
Yeah.
The best chatters
it is. We do.
And what's great is the best chatters, they're on topic. Maybe just right next to it, but it's it's great. I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Absolutely.
Oh, Maureen,
and by the
Maureen
way,
says,
everybody. Oh, go ahead, Maureen. Go ahead.
It's just that they're having tornado warnings there in Erie, Pennsylvania, not far from where she's living. So we're sending you protection and love and light for that.
And the witchy side of me says, ooh, wind magic.
Wind magic. Let's do that wind magic from a safe distance, sir.
Well, yes. Duh.
My eldest is like, tornado, Ottawa, let's go, Mom.
Uh-oh.
You have to understand, my father was a weather spotter. And he created the Skywarn here in the United States, which is ham radio operators or amateur radio operators to go out and spot conditions that are conducive toward tornadoes. Wow. I have seen those videos multiple times, and my siblings and I, when we hear a tornado warning or tornado watch, all of us go. By the way, this is for entertainment purposes only. Do not make decisions based upon what we say. Seek professional assistance, really. All of us actually find the highest viewpoint so we can go out and look. Mm-hmm. Because we're all trained to watch it.
Awesome.
So, anyhow.
Well, and we grew up with, sitting out on the porch watching the thunderstorms and all of that. So storms have always been, for us, a really exciting thing.
Definitely. They're definitely fascinating to watch, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So hello, Art Nancy. And there we are. Guy's a bit grumpy now. I think our son is also sensing our increase in light, and we need to send light and healing to both. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. That would be lovely. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. All right. I'm just going to go ahead a little bit here. Because, again, we have all sorts of stuff. And Jonathan keeps saying hello, so we need to say hello. Hello, Jonathan.
Hello, Jonathan. We see.
See?
He's going through all three channels because we're simulcasting this.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, he's just saying hi and making sure everybody's got some comments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, and
I was thinking about that.
My Facebook page isn't working, so
no.
I put it on YouTube. We'll see how it goes.
Oh, dear.
All good.
Oh.
All good.
And he says there's a big volcano on the next island over that's been going off bigger than it has been.
Wow.
And we have Garnet with us as well. Hello, Garnet.
Hello.
Welcome. We have Leah. We have Fun Boy. Fun Boy, we're not doing readings this time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's interesting, and I just have to say this because we haven't gotten to the transit yet.
Yes.
But the transit today it's 45 and it's gathering together. And I'm just so happy you guys are all here because we're gathering together.
We're gathering together. Woohoo! And we have Maria.
Hello.
Maria has perfect health. Perfect.
Yes. Ooh, and we're on Maria's the TV.
Oh, we are.
Ooh.
And we have Miss DJ. Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
And we're doing the thing.
Hooray.
We are. We are doing the thing.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
So let's
Y'all,
dear.
let me just say, obviously, this is something that we need. So
It is.
you are doing and participating in exactly what it is that is needed. So thank you.
Well,
Indeed.
yeah, and it's okay. So I'm going to do the transit because
Please.
8:45, which is the transit that
Ooh,
we're in.
pretty.
We went into it on the 7th. We're going to be here until the 13th. Yes, this Friday is Friday the 13th. Honor that power. And what's beautiful is it is gathering together. And so the energy here is shifting us from the shadow of dominance to the siddhi, or the heightened state of communion, through the gift of synergy. And I just wanted to jump in to say that, because this discussion, what's going on, all of you guys talking, what we're talking about in terms of bringing love and light to the earth and the sun, and being able to hold space for that and for one another, like that is this energy.
It is. That's
Right?
awesome.
I like that. That's great.
It's a beautiful manifestation of the energy that we're in right here in the show.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right?
So
And
gathering together. I like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the energy of the gatherer in terms of like archetypal energy. And we look at it and go, okay, what does that even, mean, or what does that look like? And what's really beautiful is this gift of synergy is our ability to harmonize things, right? And it's about taking like all of the different aspects of something and being able to bring it into a cohesive whole. Right. So we're going to foster, with this gift energy, collaboration, and begin to recognize the value of each person's contribution to the whole. And so here, just as you're going through and you're acknowledging each person's comments and all of that, and how valuable they are to the whole of the discussion. So I'm watching it unfold, and I'm going, I have to share this because it is just so beautiful.
That's
we can keep going. The comments.
I love it. I mean, and that is what happens during Twillow talk.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And Twillow stash.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing like trying to force a community. That works.
Yeah. You gotta let it naturally flow.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And now there's
that doesn't
you're
happen.
gonna go back to comments.
I'm like, what was that about? Okay. Well, even the comments slowed down. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, dudes.
It's because everybody was just feeling into it and going, yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Friday the 13th. I don't know. It's always been a good day for me. Right?
I think Friday the 13th gets a bad rap. The number 13 gets a bad rap. It is oftentimes a very good series of horror films. If you like that sort of thing. I'm one of those people who, yes, communities are built on trust that can't be forced. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be forced. There can be a
Some days.
Yes. Yes.
Glad to
Yeah.
help.
And I think, so the idea of the Friday the 13th, if we peel that back, and if people are curious, go look at the number 13 and what it means, because 13 into the Templars in Europe. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was the day that the 13th, it was a Friday that they were slaughtered.
That's not good. And by the way, with every number, there are associations that feel more positive. There are associations that feel more disconcerting. And well, yeah. And isn't that 13 is the death card in the tarot? Is that actually why 13 is the death card in the tarot?
Well, the death card is transformation.
Yes, it is.
Not that people, necessarily are. Some people love transformation and some people are hesitant around transformation.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Hesitant?
I'm trying to keep it on
That's
the
a
up.
gentle word.
Well, and in the mind calendar, which we were talking about, last week, and 13 is kind of the culmination of all of the others, right? And holding them all together and being able to hold all within one, right? So there's a lot of beautiful things around 13.
And 13 reduces to a 4. So that's a 4 is a very solid number. It's the Emperor in the tarot. And I think that goes well with the idea of Transit 45, that gathering together. You need a solid foundation in which people can have trust and to learn to trust each other.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, there we go.
Where are we going?
Oh. Here is what I was looking at. I was going to copy and paste it, and it kept moving around on me.
Ah.
I don't think I can copy and paste it from here, actually.
Okay.
I think you have to go to your, you have to watch it. You have to do it.
We can.
So go there.
You can look that up for sure. I like rising with the bring on the transformation. Except
as long as it's not painful.
Well, okay, but
exactly. There we go.
That's a nice thing to wish, but transformation, there's usually some difficulty associated with it. How long it stays with us is an important thing.
Yeah. Well, and to Jonathan's comment, right, about embracing transformation before it's thrust upon you, I think the more that we resist something, the longer and harder it is.
Mm-hmm.
I know not of what you speak. I've never resisted anything.
Me either. Don't know anything about that.
Never.
Nope. Nope.
I know not of what you speak. Mm-hmm.
Nature's relentless change. Go with the flow, not against it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yes. And ease and grace.
Yeah. To what Tiffany was saying, I remember I was down the shore and we were talking about the undertow and the riptides and how they work. And it was really interesting because if any of you have ever been in the ocean and experienced a riptide or anything like that, you know that pull is ferocious. Like sometimes it is really hard if you get caught up in that. And if you fight it, you're going to be in trouble. It's not going to go well for you. But if you surrender to it, it will actually throw you back onto the shore. Right. And so it's interesting when we look at these things about going with the flow and what that means. Like it doesn't mean we're going to be comfortable the whole time. But if we go with it, we're going to get to where we need to be. If we fight it, it's not going to feel good. And it might not go well.
Yes.
Undertow can be pretty, yeah.
Well, and part of that is we experience fear when we start to feel that pull. When we don't understand what's going on, we get fearful. That is a natural response. So we do things to go, ah.
Oh, look at that.
Wow. My son got caught in a
Amazing.
riptide when he was pretty young. He instinctually knew to swim with it. Oh, that's good.
That is good.
Yeah. So glad that that's how that went for him.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. Parallel to the beach. Very good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and we have life-giving, but also life-altering.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to argue with a large body of water.
No.
No.
I mean, I might, but I might.
We could argue.
We could try.
Yes, but, it'll show up. So, yeah.
Well, and that's interesting too, because the shadow energy for this is dominance, right? And so how often do we argue with, try to have power over, fight against, don't allow space for, right? And recognizing where that energy gets us by putting up those blocks and putting up those walls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what is the opposite of dominance?
Well, in this case, if we're looking at it from the shadow to the Siddhi, he has it as communion. Right. So when I say he, I'm talking about Richard Rudd with the gene keys.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the shadow aspect is the dominance, and the Siddhi is the communion piece. Right.
Isn't that interesting? Because dominance is trying to be in charge of someone else, but communion, there is a blending of and a working together and a melding.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's interesting because we talk about dominance, right? And Milani said surrender as the opposite there. And, I think we think that if we give up our dominance, we have to surrender because, so much of the mind goes to one side or the other, right? That deep pendulum swing, without recognizing all of the parts that are in between, or where we could land with that energy. And yeah, so if we're fearful that we have to surrender maybe to something that doesn't feel right for us, we might move into that dominance piece. But if we could be in that communion space, now neither is necessary in the same way.
Well, and in the communion space, I would hope we're able to adjust and adapt to the community, to the needs of the whole.
Right. It is kind of like that thing, right? Service to self or service to the whole. Kind of moving from service to self. If you're in dominance, that's like trying to be dominant over, power over versus power with.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hi, Annie. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Yep.
Love this.
Love the gene keys.
Absolutely. Lots and lots of spiritual wisdom there.
We haven't talked about the gene keys yet, Jennifer.
No, we haven't even. We've alluded to them. I've talked a little bit about them without going into detail, but that'll be a whole other Laugh and Learn series.
Sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug.
Poor bug.
Poor bug.
Poor windshield.
Here we go. There's something to talk about. I felt a huge relief surrendering to my higher power. The surrender was realizing that a higher power was responsible for things happening, not me.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Yeah, I remember I've shared an episode probably a while ago. I've been at this for a few years now. God, it's hard to believe. But I remember, I think one of the biggest surrenders for me was that moment where I realized as long as I kept trying to make things happen the way I wanted to, I was going to keep messing it up. Right? It was not going well. And what I was doing with my mind trying to figure it out was not at all getting me anything that I was hoping for or feeling aligned in any way. And that moment where I stepped back and went, okay, I can't do this. It's all you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then everything began to shift and change.
Yep.
Well, and I think, hi, Rachel Rose. One of the great things is, when talking about higher power, all of us who are watching now and in the playback have a different definition of higher power.
Yes.
That's the beauty of the higher power and that concept. And one is not better than the other. They are just different. They are equally important. So,
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a good thing we didn't get everything we wanted. We get everything we need.
Absolutely. There are things that I thought I wanted. I'm so glad I didn't get them. And there are things I wanted that I got and went, damn.
That was not what I wanted.
I didn't know better.
That was not what I wanted.
Yes. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's the let go movement when things begin firing on all cylinders.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing, right? Because so much of the control that we have or the dominance or whatever it is that we try to do to make things happen in a certain way actually limit that ability to access the firing on all cylinders, right? Because we get very caught up in this is the way, not to be like Mandalorian, but this is the way. And so we get stuck in that. And then we don't realize that if we could let go of that and release it, now we have access to all the cylinders.
Yep.
What's really scary, thrilling, frightening, all of those things at the same time, sometimes we don't realize that we haven't been firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Following the car analogy, suddenly we're going, woo! when we thought we were already doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the universe hit the nitro button the moment we went, you drive.
Yep.
And he says, many things have changed for me in the last year. I've come to accept the situation and seeing things in another perspective. Also, things change to let space to other things to happen. So.
Yeah, yes. Absolutely.
Yes. And remove the self-bondage and self-incarceration. Incarceration.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And the way to do that is you sometimes, okay, you're going to get me, wait a minute. Squirrel. When that happens, first of all, we need to know that that's what's going on. The second thing we need to do is how are we going to deal with it? And the third thing is to deal with it or not deal with it, because when we're not dealing with it, that's a way of dealing with it. I love the idea of, sure, I'll dance with the devil, but I'm going to lead. How's that for an interesting image? Boom. Oh, both of them.
Yeah, I'm not dancing with them. Sorry.
I'm just wondering now if that's that dominance energy.
I think it might be.
Could be.
But I do like the idea behind that of I am not going to be pulled around or directed to be any kind of way. I'm going to decide. And even if you try to move me in a certain way or do something that isn't in alignment, I'm going to be the one that's going to say, no, we're not going that way, right? So that leading piece. Because I think whether we like it or not, that imagery of dancing with the devil is something that we experience.
Well, and I think there's I think there's a difference between the dominance and the putting up your boundaries too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes,
and being in your own power versus dominance, which is like power over others, right?
I love that. Therein lies when you realize that, oh no, you are not welcome here. I have my own power. My own power keeps you over there.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. And, 6.5 years ago, backwards and in high heels.
Yep.
Yes. I mean,
Did you
kudos.
see that? Yep.
Yeah. And when I first saw it, I thought they were 6.5-inch high heels. And I was like,
yeah, I thought that too.
I was like, wow. This is the comment we're talking about.
Yeah.
Dancing in high heels is a trick in itself, I have to say.
Yes. Well, and yes, Nalani, Squirrel? Yeah. Nalani, I also think, a lot of times people will see the devil as the shadow self. It's shadow self, light work, dark work. It's all work. It's all yourself. Engage with the different aspects appropriately so that you can take away stuff and learn. So.
And I think it is important to notice the dynamic that we have with our shadow, right? With those aspects of ourselves, because if we see them as the devil in terms of, culturally what the devil represents, then there's something that we need to avoid. And there's something that we want to, not give any energy to and all of that. But if we look at it in terms of the tarot deck, right? The devil is transformation. These are aspects of ourselves that actually can bring us a whole lot of, like all of our gifts can come forward with this. This is where our genius lies. So it's really about our relationship with the shadow and how we're perceiving it. That's going to make a lot of difference in terms of whether or not we're willing to dance with it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Needing power over others is based on feeling powerless or a fear of being powerless.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Boundary lessons being learned.
Yes. Yeah.
Milani has one on each shoulder. I'm assuming angelic and not.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, and I also think the idea of for me, I also look at the devil card, and it's the things that are difficult to look at and bringing them into the light so that I can examine them. That's scary. It's very empowering. So there's it's an interesting thing. That's a whole different show.
Yeah. But it's true.
Related to this, right?
Well, and I think even that idea of, sorry, we'll do that first.
The more you try to run from the inner devil, the stronger they get. You conquer them with acceptance and understanding.
Absolutely.
Self-bondage morphs into reasonable self-restraint when balanced. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like
well,
that.
To Jonathan's comment there about, the more we run from, I think that there is, we're talking about this dominance energy, and it's, the dominance over. And I think that we have to have dominance over our emotions. We, are told, you can't feel this, or don't cry, or don't do that, or you're not allowed to be angry, or you're not allowed to whatever. And so we get conditioned to believe that we're supposed to have this kind of ruling over or dominance of our emotions so that we can control them and all of that, as opposed to recognizing that true power, true understanding comes in that communion with them, right? Our ability to sit with them and get the messages that they have to offer and understand why they're showing up and what's being triggered inside of us that's bringing them forward so that we can actually, as Jonathan said there, bring acceptance and understanding to them so that we can release them.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is one way of working through that stuff, mirror work.
Mm-hmm.
It is well worth it for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Maureen's trying to establish boundaries, separate ourselves from codependent relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Compassion is key. Compassion is key for so much right now. The more compassion we can show to others and ourselves, because we forget about ourselves, it is key. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, and
Gross.
I mean, probably everybody here has gotten that, right? The moment that we have the ability to even tap into an emotion, we're sometimes considered too sensitive, let alone when we're able to feel the emotions of others too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something that, that was a big thing in my postgraduate training. It's like, no one is too sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how to address it because the world doesn't understand it. So creating an environment to where those feelings can be safely felt and appreciated goes a long, long way. And again, for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah. Or observe without judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Timmy
And
Timmy asked a question about that.
That is a good question.
Is mirror work the same as self-reflection? Have you ever done mirror work, Tanis?
I have. Mm-hmm. When I do mirror work, I do the Ho'oponopono in the mirror. And I find it has helped me a lot with self-acceptance and stuff. That was something early on in my journey that I had to work on. Was it self-reflection? I think that in one sense it is, but I think there's also the other aspect that you're just dealing with looking yourself in the eye and that real energetic soul part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Really just allowing yourself to see yourself for who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So self-reflection, kind of. That's my response, is kind of, in a way.
Well, and like so many different things, it's what we want it to be, right? If you want to do mirror work and use it as Tanis does with the Ho'oponopono, that's a beautiful practice that you can do. If you want to do mirror work in terms of seeing what's reflected in others and having that come back to you, that's also mirror work. Yep. If you want to do it in the sense of recognizing perception, like what's coming to mind is OEI, observed and experiential integration, so mental health thing. But what we do is we recognize the neural pathways that the eyes hold, and we actually look and see, do I see myself differently, depending on the traumas that are being triggered as I look at myself, and how do I do that work, right? And so there's so many beautiful ways that we can do mirror work, and some can involve self-reflection, and self-reflection can come in many ways, and some involve mirror work, right? But they're not all exactly the same.
Yes.
I have done mirror work in working with different deity and seeing myself and that deity intermixed, so that divinity is, surprise, already within me. There's an opportunity to embrace that and to see that reflected back to me. So I wrote down mirror work. That's a great topic for a laugh and learn.
It is. Definitely.
So. So
yeah, so it's, you can't do one without the other. Nalani's saying self-acceptance no matter what. Introspection. Definitely.
And it's so funny. You say self-acceptance no matter what. And, you know, we've all been there in that moment where there's a self-judgment. There's something that comes up and we recognize the inner critic, right? It's coming out, or the mind bully, and it's saying its stuff. And I think that even in that, self-acceptance is really important. Even if we just go, oh, look, there's that bully again in my mind saying the same thing over and over, but without the judgment piece, because I think that the judgment piece is what comes in and it takes over. And so, okay, I had the thought. So what?
Yeah.
Right? I don't have to keep it. See ya. It's all good.
Yes.
So that's the self-acceptance piece is I don't have to look in the mirror and immediately go, oh, I love myself. I can recognize the narratives and the things that come up, but then can I observe them and go, oh, wow. Okay. There's that belief again, or there's that narrative again. Okay. Now what do I want to do with it?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, and you know, there's always these situations that come up, and the self-reflection, right, has always been a thing, the introspection. So I'm getting triggered in this situation. How am I going to look at this? What am I going to look into about that? My trigger is my trigger. So I need to do a little bit of work and introspection on, why is this triggering me? What do I need to go back and look at? What do I need to bring to light to release that trigger? And then, you know, and sometimes that's where we take that breath and we step back from a situation to work into working on our own trigger before you engage, right? So.
I'm writing down what Beth said. Jennifer's, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, Aw, thank you, Jonathan. Nice. That's very sweet.
I remember when I was around 20-ish, I saw myself as an old indigenous maybe woman. Mm-hmm. This one too. Isn't that what Alice was doing when you were talking about the deities, I think? Finding a bit of herself in every character she met. In Alice in Wonderland. That's interesting, eh?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Beth says, interesting topic would be view different devil cards and talk about the aspects of shadow and self-reflection and change.
Love definitely. That. I wrote it down.
Mm-hmm. Triggers or lessons, definitely.
Absolutely.
And we have Tarot Your Way.
Hey, Thomas.
Hey, Thomas. Hello, hello. Yeah. She's trying to convince you to do an audiobook. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, and it's so interesting. Go ahead, Gerald.
Hands up for those of you who would like Jennifer to do an audiobook. Hands up, please. Hands up.
Are we getting little hands now?
And it could be a tiny hand. It could be a regular size hand. It could be an enormous hand, but
I only have one size.
Yes. Well, and you know, this is that community. This is Transit 45, the gathering together. Everyone is gathering together to encourage you to use your voice.
Awesome.
And here is all the hands.
Aw, thank you, everyone. I love it. There you go. Yeah. And Timmy's like, we need a Jennifer AI voice. Also an audiobook.
Awesome.
And by the way, Jennifer, if you don't want to do an audiobook, don't do an audiobook. It's okay.
It's all
just
good.
know you've got support.
If I fall to it, I will do it. And it sounds like there's an invitation here. As a projector, I need to decide if that invitation is correct for me or not. Yes. But I appreciate the recognition and invitation to it.
Do you want
so you have the invitation. So that means you can go ahead and do it if you wish. Yes.
Do you want me to be snarky? Because it is Gerald. You know.
Go ahead.
Okay. It's okay if you want to disappoint us. Don't do it.
Ooh, passive
Don't
aggressive.
disappoint you, or don't do the thing.
Exactly. By the way, contact me if you ever want me to be your inner voice, because I can do it.
I just like how you leave that way open to interpretation.
Yes.
There you go. We'd love Jennifer to
back
read
to
her book.
Yvonne.
Yeah. Or ASMR. Ooh, we got the human design book too. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I've been thinking about doing like just meditations, guided meditations and things like that. So we'll see how
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, wait a minute. Look, everybody, we had a squirrel.
Yeah, we totally squirreled.
It's my kind of show.
But I have a squirrel. I need to grab my squirrel.
Guilt, the universal motivator. Yes.
And by the way, everybody knows I'm just playing.
Squirrel.
Oh my God, I love it. Is that a squirrel?
It's a squirrel.
Is it a
pen.
squirrel or is it a chipmunk?
Oh, maybe it's a chipmunk because it's got the stripes.
But the tail is bigger, like a squirrel.
It's not a chipmunk squirrel. Or squirrel, not a chipmunk squirrel.
It looks like a chipmunk squirrel.
Is it a chipmunk squirrel?
Yes.
Well, and isn't there a happy squirrel card that was a thing for a while from The Simpsons? Is that where it came in the tarot? There was a happy squirrel card.
What's there? I don't know.
So,
I don't know where it came from. I just have heard it so much.
Yes.
And it's a big part of my life. Squirrel.
I was trying to find one of a squirrel jumping. So. And of course,
one of the squirrels
there we go.
Videos with the bird feeders, and they do all these things to try to get the squirrels out. And so you see the squirrel like hanging on the rope, trying to get to the bird feeder.
And probably what's happening is, the squirrel's going woo. It is all about perspective, and I love it.
Absolutely.
Okay, and Kaylee said chipmunks have shorter tails. I have a thing for chipmunks. That's for a whole different show because we're at 57 minutes, and we have home play.
Yes.
So
Home play.
if you ever need
a
moment of zen, watch Squirrels at the Window on YouTube.
Okay.
Cool.
Hashtag writing that down.
Check that out.
Beautiful. Oh, Jonathan doesn't have any there. He misses squirrels.
Aww.
Everybody now send Jonathan videos of squirrels.
Then he doesn't have to miss them. I have many of both in my backyard, but one in particular squirrel. It was so funny. So there was this squirrel. We have a hot tub, and there we had this little half shed thing in the backyard, right beside the hot tub.
Mm-hmm.
This little chipmunk, 3 days in a row, came out, went on top of the little shed beside the hot tub, and sat there like this. When I was in the hot tub, I was like, I feel watched. It was very funny. He got bored. I wasn't very exciting, I guess. He left.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. We had a squirrel that used to come visit us, and the kids would like leave stuff out. And at one point, she came and like actually sat on our lap, and it's just like the cutest thing.
Cute. Yes, it was. It was a little weird.
Yeah,
Especially being a chipmunk.
Definitely.
Perp squirrel for sure. All right.
you're welcome,
So-
Jonathan.
Here's our Seed from the Sacred Feminine. And our home play that I got was Create a Sacred Fire.
Create the sacred fire.
You were just talking about the Ring of Fire earlier in the show.
Mm-hmm.
We want this one to be sacred, not the vomiting all over.
Sorry. trying to say I had a past life with a squirrel or a chipmunk? Like I said, it was weird.
Yeah.
I was hoping it was more of a vibration thing than that, but
High vibe animals are drawn to you, but that one's
it is a little weird.
Well,
yeah.
That goes back to what happened backstage. Your dog jumped on you.
That's right.
I mean, that is a thing. Animals get it.
Yeah.
She came in, gave me a full-on hug, came right up, both paws over, wrapped them. I was like, "Oh, thank you, baby."
And
animals react to high vibration, right?
And animals are here to help us. There's so many animals that can be trained to spot health issues.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could look at the chipmunk watching me as a protection thing rather than how we're looking at it. It might have been protecting me.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And dogs do see.
Definitely.
Yeah. So do the cats. And they just start staring into nowhere. And you're like, okay, what's happening?
Yeah.
Who am I not seeing right now?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes, Jonathan has quite a few animals.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. They are a blessing, indeed.
They are.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. You guys want me to read this?
Yes, please.
Yes,
okay.
Please.
Here we go. Create a sacred fire. Sometimes a raging fire is the only way to seed a new forest. Although fire can seem devastating and frightening to humans, beauty exists in fire's destructive nature as well. Fire burns away the overgrown forest to germinate new seeds. Mother Earth has made some seeds so tough that only fire can activate the germination process. Not water, not sunlight, just fire. Your emotions can resemble a fire, and sometimes only rage itself can generate the healing you need. Are you holding back a raging fire and preventing an important seed or idea from germinating? Are you afraid of getting burned? What fire within you is trying to get your attention? To help your process, light a sacred fire. This may even be a simple candle. Honor the great element of fire by offering the burning embers a gift of tobacco. Sing and dance around the fire and let your physical body release the fires within. By heating up the body and sweating, you are giving your spiritual fire a chance to burn safely. Let the emotional fire out through your mouth in a ferocious snarl or vibrate your physical body into a fierce explosion. Move, dance, writhe, run, or wrestle. The body knows how to release rage safely through movement. Honor your sacred fire.
Well, that was a thing.
Yeah. That's a powerful thing. Yeah, because I've been dealing with a thing where I'm having moments of through several conversations where moments of where I'm really out of balance, and what I'm finding is that when I'm more in balance, my inner fire is able to burn more efficiently and hotter, so it can propel me to engage in the things that bring me joy. I'm also able to use that fire to look at the difficult things and go, all right, what is this? Or to go, wow, I see this. And I don't have to get any closer than I see you. I like that card.
It's a nice one.
Mm-hmm.
And for our funny. See, you're part of community.
Woohoo!
And when we talk about fire, it's all about passion, which is all about our sacral, the orange.
And I love how the fire it's not the largest flames that are the hottest. It's the coals. It's the ones that are burning blue. By the way, for entertainment purposes only, I am not a scientist or anything like that. But I think it's really interesting. What people see on the outside is not always what is burning and propelling someone to go forward.
Absolutely.
Aren't you all glad you're here? I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad you're here.
Well, thank you.
I'm glad to be here.
Yes.
What have you got going on coming up? Sure.
Tomorrow I have a show with Hershey. It's I'm calling it a laugh and learn. It's tips and tricks.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be fun. I am also, Jamie and I are doing something tomorrow afternoon. I have a creativity conversation scheduled with Mark from Spirit Whisperer. We're going to be talking to Pan, who he channels, and the importance of creativity.
Beautiful.
Linda De Gonzalez and I are talking on Thursday about learning decks, learning tarot decks.
Okay. Yep.
And then I've got a whole bunch of shows that I am on Friday, and one of those is doing readings with Linda De Gonzalez.
Awesome.
So, and then, of course, Saturday, in case people need something to do on Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, Linda De Gonzalez, Purple Elephant Deb H, and I are doing Gratitude Drives Abundance readings.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Jen?
Well, just before this, Gerald and I were on a Laugh and Learn with Human Design, and we were talking about profiles. So if you're into learning about that, you can go ahead and check out the playlist. I know Gerald has it on his channel. I've got it on mine and on the website. So you can check that out if you missed it. And then Friday, we have Galactic Gap.
Mm-hmm. So Lisa Thompson will be joining Jen and I.
Nice. What time is that?
7:30.
Okay.
Yes, 7:30 Eastern.
I think that's great.
It's up. It was postponed from last week. So those of you that heard us say that last week, it got postponed. So it's actually this week instead.
So people can watch me for a half an hour, get bored, and then go visit your show. I highly encourage that.
Or they can watch yours and jump over to ours. However it works for you. Or you can watch both.
Playback.
Both.
Have them both going.
Yeah.
And we'll do this and we'll do that.
I love it.
Yep. You can do that. And I have a podcast coming out on Wednesday. It's a pre-recorded, but it will be with Andrew Gill, My Place Home Care. So it's a compassionate chat, and it's all about seniors and exercise.
Oh, nice.
Seniors fitness. So, yeah.
Very nice.
It's a quieter week this week.
It is. I'm not sure where we are in the overall schedule in terms, too, of the support groups.
Support group is scheduled for 21st.
Right. So then it might be this week on the Tuesday that Susan has hers. I'm not sure if it was this week or last because of the way that the weeks fall. But if you go to beyondbeinghuman.org/support-groups, you guys can check them out. They're also free to join, and they're on Zoom, and you get to kind of just talk about your journey with other people who are on the journey and just hold that space for one another. So another great community building space.
And I have a certain someone with a birthday coming up next week.
Like, isn't that you?
Not me.
Oh, is it Jennifer's having a birthday?
Yes. Next week.
Huh.
So we'll wish her happy birthday next week.
There you go.
But if you want to start early, you can start now.
Wow, thanks.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Everybody tune in next week at this time to celebrate Jennifer's birthday.
Very nice.
That was wonderful.
That was perfect.
Thank you for that, Gerald.
Love it.
You're welcome.
And as always a pleasure and an honor having you on, Gerald. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we love you lots, and we love all of you as well. Please come back next week. Mm-hmm. And each week after that, we're on every week at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard. And check out all of those amazing things that Gerald's got coming up. And we will see you soon. Mm-hmm. Have an awesome week, everyone. Lots of love.
Bye.